Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for being here, and please join me in celebrating the beautiful music of Amari Nash, who we just learned is a fabulous pianist. This is Elson Nash's son. Elson is one of our fellows who you will meet tonight. My name is Seema Iyer, and I oversee the Real Estate and Economic Development Program at the University of Baltimore. And I want to welcome everybody to the second annual Pitch for a Million competition that you will see some amazing proposals for our development in our neighborhoods from our real estate fellows this year, which was 2020, which was obviously an incredibly challenging year, but I think this evening will be a hopeful and inspiring event for everybody. I want to first turn it over to our illustrious Dean of the Merrick School of Business, Dean Murray Dio.
Welcome to everyone. Thank you, Seema. And I know we have in the audience, we've got students, faculty, friends of our contestants. I see partners from the business community and members from the very communities that we will all learn from about in a little while from our contestants. So again, everyone, welcome. Thank you for coming. Now, you all know UB in one way or the other, but let me tell you that in this current situation, as we're viewing each other remotely, and believe me, I would much rather be in person with you, when we are teaching totally online, you know, at UB, we count ourselves actually as one of the luckiest universities in the world. For one thing, we don't have dorms, cafeterias, fraternities, and sports teams. You know, as President Schmoke likes to remind people, our basketball team is undefeated since 1995. So we have no worries about keeping these open in the pandemic. But when we don't have these things, some of you might be asking, well, why do our students come here? Well, they come to get a college education, not necessarily a college experience. And what do our students do? Well, by and large, they work and study, which is pretty tough. But it can be rewarding as well, because many of them can apply their learning right away. We also hope that when they graduate, they see that we fulfilled a promise to them to help them launch or advance their career. And that's actually what makes UB the preeminent university in the Mid-Atlantic for educating working adults. But as you will see tonight, we are also lucky in two other respects. We have fantastic business partners, particularly here at the Merrick School of Business. So I would like to give my thanks to Baltimore Community Lending, M&T Bank, and Hard Bank, and our Real Estate and Economic Development Board, which is chaired by Matt McNeely from Continental Real Estate. And I also want to thank members of the larger real estate community who have worked with our students in this competition. And all of these are wonderful gifts, but the biggest reason we're the luckiest university in the world, you will see tonight, and that's our students and our alumni. So I want to thank tonight's contestants for putting, you're going to see this, you're putting so much effort into this. Now, because we are the luckiest university in the world, we also feel we've got a special obligation, and that is to our great city of Baltimore. We see ourselves not only as the University of Baltimore, but the university for Baltimore. And this competition is not only a chance for our students to hone their skills, but it is our collective effort to work together to improve the communities we are part of. So thank you again for attending. Enjoy Pitch for a Million and cheer on our contestants. We're going to be hearing you virtually. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Jean DL. We could not do this without the partnership of the Baltimore Community Lending. I want to now introduce Watson Harris Bruce, who's the president and CEO of BCL as of just this year, January 2020.
Yeah.
But she has more than 30 years of banking, finance, economic, and business development experience, both internationally as CEO of Africa New Frontier and Chief of Party County Director of USAID Investing for Business and Expansion Project, and nationally as Vice President of the Community Development for Fleet Bank in Boston, where she just came from. So welcome to Baltimore, Washington, and thank you so much for the continued support here for the Pitch for $1 Million.
Well, thank you very much, Seema, and thank you again to everyone for the invitation to participate in this great program. Welcome to everyone to this great event. And also just briefly to let you know a little bit about BCL, Baltimore Community Lending is a local community development financial institution that supports revitalization and strengthening of underserved Baltimore neighborhoods through innovative and flexible financial assistance designed to promote development in the city of Baltimore. We work with government agencies, foundations, financial institutions, community stakeholders, anchor institutions like UB, small business owners early in the planning stage to help them acquire capital to solve this problem. We work with very diverse population, and we have two loan funds. One specifically is the real estate loan fund, and which we are participating as one of the sponsor of this program. Our real estate program, through this program, we provide loan capital for real estate development. We work with different types of borrowers, from developers, small to medium-sized developers, as well as individual investors, to nonprofits and community partners to transform and revitalize Baltimore neighborhoods. BCL provides financing to develop affordable housing, community facilities, and mixed-use developments in underserved Baltimore neighborhoods. The second loan fund that we have is Small Business Loan Fund, and through our small business division, our loan product is designed around people with barriers to credit for small businesses, specifically in the city of Baltimore. And we work, most of our clients are minorities and women-owned businesses. We provide borrowers flexible loan terms. We provide technical assistance, as well as we work with other partners. It's important to have collaboration partners like UB and other lenders in the community. And we also want to congratulate Tiffany Green, who is the first female fellow winner. And she has gone through our process. We are proud of her because she made it through and was able to secure lending a facility to do her development. So we are very proud of her, but we also want to extend best of luck to all of the fellows that will be presenting this evening. And again, welcome to all of you. And we look forward to continuing this collaboration partnership with UB. And we are very excited about this, because this is what it's all about: grooming and preparing our future developers for the city of Baltimore. Thank you again for the opportunity to participate, and thanks to Seema for the great work she's doing, and Maury for all you all do at UB. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Watson. And I just want to let participants know what you're going to expect today. It's going to be a very special night, so hopefully you'll stick with us for the entire duration of the event. This is a photo back when we actually could be together as fellows. I don't know if the fellows remember this day, but it was way back in February. But since then, we obviously had to cut some of our program and make it virtual. But these are the finalists. These are who the folks that you're going to hear from today. You're going to hear from the joint team of Trina Dubose and Elson Nash, and then you're going to hear from Matthew King, and then Nikita Thompson. So that's the order. We picked names out of a hat for their order. And over the course of the mentorship program, what they have been through with us is learning from everybody in the city of Baltimore that actually is involved in this work, and basically increasing their network to try and build their own development company. This is literally the list of folks that they met with us, but then they went, and we want to thank all of the mentors that spent time with our fellows over the last 6 months. Obviously, a lot of things had to be adjusted given the pandemic, and what you are going to see is really just an amazing tenacity to make sure that their dreams did not go by the wayside because of the current pandemic. They stuck to it. It was hard. They're going to show you the best of what they came up with, but don't be fooled that this was a very challenging thing to do remotely for most of them. And, trying to actually make the numbers work and actually figure out where we are as a city. But it is such an inspiring night that we are going to hear from our fellows. So I want to introduce our judges. I want to thank, obviously, all of our sponsors, M&T Bank, Howard Bank, our Real Estate Advisory Board, and of course, the partnership with BCL Lending. But let me introduce our judges. We have, first of all, I want to introduce the mentor to our fellows. Imagine if you wanted to start your own development company and you had access to a senior loan officer for 10 weeks normally, but in our case, it was for 6 months. I want to really thank Sean Russell at Baltimore Community Lending, who's vice president and senior lending officer. He stays with our fellows the entire time. And it's really a huge benefit to our fellows to be able to hear from a senior lending officer throughout the process. Sean Russell is a senior loan officer with BCL with responsibility for marketing products and services, identifying new customers, and originating loans. He has 30 years of experience in real estate and construction finance and 10 years in community development. He was kind of like the Tim Gunn of this, for those of you that watch Project Runway. So he will be a part of the judging to kind of facilitate the conversation, but he doesn't get a vote. So our voting judges are Bob Altieri, who's Chief Operating Officer for Baltimore Community Lending. He has a diverse background and over 30 years of experience in bank industry, ranging from mortgage division for a growing community bank in Baltimore to becoming president and CEO of a publicly traded community bank. He also has acted as financial consultant for the purpose of purchasing a bank holding company, and has included hiring the executive team, preparing policies, financial projections, and enhancing digital and mobile banking. Thanks so much, Bob, for being here with us this evening and lending your time. Next up is John Desino. John is Senior Vice President at Howard Bank and part of the commercial real estate team, providing financing and banking solutions to commercial real estate developers and investors, as well as residential home builders throughout the Baltimore, Washington metropolitan areas. Before joining the Howard Bank team, John Desino held various roles in real estate, in commercial real estate divisions at M&T Bank, Susquehanna Bank, and Bank of America, where he led the Mid-Atlantic home builder division for the bank for almost 15 years. John is a passionate community player and has taken on several volunteer board member opportunities on multiple occasions. John, thank you very much for being here and for Howard Bank's support of the program. And last but not least is Barbara Simmons. Barbara has a distinguished career, long-standing relationships by being held an active leader in greater Baltimore real estate, commercial real estate market. She's been with M&T Bank since 1991 and currently is Senior Group Manager at M&T Bank. Simmons leads the bank's commercial real estate division in Central Maryland, responsible for $2.5 billion of commercial investment loan portfolio. An active member of the Baltimore community, Barbara has held several board member roles, particularly with the Maryland Society of Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, the MDSPCA, for more than 5 years. She is also a member of our real estate advisory group for the READ program. And she has several degrees from Virginia Tech, Johns Hopkins, and is also a University of Baltimore grad. Thanks so much, Barbara, to your support for being here tonight, and also for the M&T Bank's support for this program. So we are going to start. We are going to start with our first team, which is Elson and Trina with the Baltimore Seed Properties. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys.
Welcome everyone to the 2020 Pitch for a Million. Baltimore Seed Properties wants to thank you for joining us this evening. We would like to personally thank those joining to support BSP and those who have helped us navigate through this journey to bring us to this very moment. Baltimore Seed Properties was founded this summer as a result of me realizing my passion for and importance of providing comfortable housing for Baltimore City residents, not subpar housing, but housing I would be proud to call my own. BSP is a nonprofit organization with a mission to rebuild one Baltimore City at a time. We are committed to providing sustainable housing for low to moderate income individuals and families. My name is Trina Dubose. I am a 2020 Real Estate Fellow and a 2020 MBA graduate from the University of Baltimore. I am the founder of BSP and head of the development projects. I am not only passionate about providing housing to Baltimore City residents, but also passionate about closing the wealth gap for the underserved in Baltimore City. I've owned and maintained rental properties since 2008 and currently own and rent a property in the Lauraville community near Morgan State University.
Hello, my name is Elson Nash. I'm a third-year doctoral student in public administration with over 20 years experience in housing and community development at the local and federal level. I also own properties in Baltimore since 2004. I am working on fund development for the project.
BSP has established a network to ensure seamless project execution. We have engaged reputable professionals with years of experience in their field. Our partners consist of S&P, Ziegler Sneed, Green Gurus, Urban Built, Consider It Done, Jadea Kaysen, Janine Marnier, and Willis Abar.
BSP is currently focused on building 3 homes in the Greater Govans area in partnership with the Mid-Govans Community Association, Winston Govans Neighborhood Improvement Association, Govans Elementary School, Loyola University, and the York Road Partnership in conjunction with the York Road Corridor Project and Action Plan. The Greater Govan area was strategically selected for its strong partnerships with the education and small business communities, as well as the support services for senior citizens. It was also selected for the great potential to capture the housing migration patterns of families moving into the Northeast quadrant of Baltimore, as mentioned in the recent ABLE report. In our prospectus, there are 9 letters of support from partners, and many of them are on the call this evening. Together, we are working to carry out Baltimore City's framework for community development. The Greater Govans area consists of the Mid-Govans and Winston Govans neighborhoods. The area has a rich history dating back to 1783 as a suburb for Baltimore's elite. As such, it has a hub of activity along the York Road corridor. The area is located north of downtown along the east side of the North York Road corridor. The neighborhoods consist of 1,200 homes with recent sales ranging from $48,000 to $369,000. It is within walking distance to the York Road commercial area with small businesses, a farmer's market, churches, and one of the few neighborhood-based theaters. At the heart of the community is Dewey's Park, which has the Dewey's Park Master Plan to redevelop 14 acres into an active recreation space with community garden and a walking trail for the community. Govans Elementary School, a 21st century school slated for opening with total reconstruction, is a unique place because it is both a charter school and a community school. Community schools help connect students and parents to critical neighborhood services. The goal is to boost student achievement. The community school coordinator, Ms. Sadney McFadden, is a tireless champion of neighborhood development who links services in the neighborhood to the students in need. Through the Inspire program, the city is investing in promoting the area surrounding a quarter-mile radius of the school. 2 of the properties up for development are within this radius, and their street serves as a primary walking pathway for the students. At a glance, this community has all the attributes for success: close-knit neighbors, kids-friendly, and walkable to essential services, small businesses, and recreation. Now, on to the exciting part, the properties.
The Mid-Govans project consists of 3 new builds. 2 homes will be built on Govain Avenue and 1 on Beaumont Avenue. BSP has submitted a vacancy to value application for all 3 properties. An acquisition of the properties is simply awaiting our pitch for $1 million victory. BSP is committed to driving home ownership, which is in line with the various community partnership and association vision for Greater Govans area. We will maintain a 70-30 portfolio, selling 70% of the homes that are built or rehabbed and retaining 30% for rentals. Baltimore City voucher holders will take priority for BSP's rental properties. The 3 new builds will be Energy Star, Zero Energy Ready, and Indoor Air Plus certified. The semi-detached Govain Avenue properties will consist of 1,800 square feet of living space, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, a garden room, and a terrace for tranquil living and entertaining.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jadea Kaysen, and I'm a licensed realtor with Harris Hawkins & Co. Realty. I'm also the owner of Bringing Families Home Property Management. The projected ARV for the townhome for sale on Govain Avenue is $250,000, which is supported by an average close price of $253,000. The average rental value in this neighborhood for a home of 1,500 to 1,700 square feet is roughly $1,800 per month. However, in an effort to remain conservative, I recommend a monthly rental rate of $1,700. I plan to leverage my relationship with HABC, the Section 8 voucher program, to place a subsidized tenant into this home.
The single-family home on Beaumont Avenue will consist of 2,030 square feet of living space, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, a garden room, and a master room balcony for a family to call their own.
Based on steady market activity in the 21212 zip code, I recommend the Beaumont Avenue project be priced conservatively at $325,000. This price point will help bring value to current homeowners in the area whose homes are similar in square footage, lot size, and interior finishes on this side of the York Road corridor.
The total cost for the Mid-Govans project is $1,375,700. We are asking BCL for $1 million, and BSP will rely on local foundations to close the gap. We expect to bring in $825,000 at the end of the project in sales and loan funds. Elson will provide details on BSP's grant efforts in a moment. 5623 Govain Avenue will be rented to a Baltimore City voucher holder and will have an annual debt service of $10,321 and a net operating income of $11,870.
We are currently working with 3 local foundations to develop full proposals to address the gap in funding. We have been in discussions with all these foundations, and our project aligns with their goals. They too would like to see the investment from BCL because this shows support from another funder. Please note, we are asking for the maximum amount because there are 2 other properties in the queue waiting for approval from the city. We targeted the Goldsecker Foundation to tie the needs of this project to the overall needs of the community. As a result, our proposal with Goldsecker is to develop an overall plan for funding with the partners, so we are coordinating and supporting funding across initiatives. This type of community conscious development has not been done before. It is an important step to comprehensively coordinate and address the needs of the community.
The McGovens project will kick off in October and will break ground in May 2021. The project is estimated to conclude by the end of November 2021, potentially putting 3 individuals and/or 3 families in these beautiful new properties by Christmas of 2021. Join us in this mission to rebuild one Baltimore City community at a time by selecting Baltimore Seed Properties as the 2020 Pitch for $1 Million winner.
I'm clapping for everybody. Congratulations, that was amazing. I'm going to turn it over for your questions from our judges. Judges?
Trina, it's John Desino. How are you?
Hi, John, how are you?
Good. Good job. Being the banker, I typically have to look at the numbers first. And I'm looking at this gap and I'm trying to figure out in my head, logically, why somebody would spend $1.3 million, $1.4 million almost, and not have the value there in the underlying collateral from what I can tell. Help me through this. What's the thinking here?
Yep. So this is the first to be done in Baltimore City. And we're being this, because of that, we see an uphill battle. But in discussions with the proper people, they see once we do this, that then we will set a precedent in the community. So this will help, while it's not there right now, this will help drive what we need to see as far as values and closing that gap, which is when you look at York Road, on one side of York Road, the values are high. On the other side of York Road, the values are low. But this project will hope to close that gap. And people should invest in, I believe that the foundations are really interested, not only because we're seeking energy efficient homes. And once we get started, the gaps will close. The reason the gap's so high right now is because we have the architectural fees that are rather high, and we have to build more properties of similar stature in order to bring down our cost. So the 2 properties that Elson stated are in the pipeline. They won't nearly cost as much as these are costing us because we're going to use the same floor plan and footprint.
I'll agree. First of all, I have an undergraduate degree in architecture. I have a bond affinity for architects. But when I saw those numbers, and I don't know if they're on this Zoom call, I was shocked at how you could spread those numbers over 3 units and justify it. Now I understand where you're going with it.
Right. And this is Barb Simmons. So you just, first off, you guys really appreciate the presentation and really appreciate all of the detail you provided. Sort of to come at it, I have the same question. The theme is similar to John's, in that maybe to come at it a little differently is, how do you all expect to repay your construction loan? So maybe if you think about it from on the units you're going to sell, what are your net proceeds? And at the end of the day, how do you expect, if you could rationalize and kind of talk through, how do you expect to get repaid on your construction loan? That would be helpful.
So we will pay the foundations, when we spoke to them, we are submitting for the maximum amount. So we will actually, while the gap is roughly $500,000, we are actually seeking $800,000. So, but at the end of the project, and I do apologize. I don't want to state any of the numbers incorrectly. So at the end of the project, the gap at project closing is roughly 500,000. But once we obtain the grant funds, we will roughly have about $250,000 left over. So it's really the foundations that prioritize the type of project that we're doing and to support making this type of investment.
Trina, hello. This is Bob here. Thank you and your team. You guys did a really good job. Congratulations. You're at a disadvantage because you have 3 bankers on the call. 3 bankers and judges. We truly do look at the same thing. My 2 fellow judges have already asked the question, so I'll ask something a little differently as it relates to your project. Tell me about your conversation with your funding sources as of today. You have a number of days, I guess, in the queue with France, Goal Seeker, and Able, 30 days. Tell me where you are with them and how you feel, if you could put a percentage on it, what that success would be as a percentage. 100 being you're getting the money.
I would say we're actually pretty confident, and Elson can take this as he did the funding, but we are pretty confident, and our particular projects are in line with what they want to support. So Elson, but you can.
Absolutely, and I definitely appreciate the question. One of the reasons why we went for the local foundations was because they have a vested interest in supporting these types of projects. The timing was such with the ABLE report around migration patterns of families. This area is one of the key areas. And actually they were kind of surprised that, we had mentioned the report and we were working with the community because it is in line with what a lot of folks are thinking. How do we capture and support those moderate income families so that they are staying in Baltimore? To answer an earlier question, I think the idea of using this project could be a way for the overall city to look at strategies to support moderate income families staying into the community. The uniqueness of this project in looking at education as a value added, as a part of community development, I think is a key element, not only for Baltimore, but other cities. And I think the way that we're doing it in conjunction with the neighborhood association and the school is really a highlight of what we have to offer that I think is different. The idea of using education as a catalyst for community development. Everyone wants good education. And so for families to stay in the city, having a good education as a part of that backbone, we think is a smarter way to have community development.
Thank you. I just have one other question. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't see it in the presentation either. What is your timeline?
Yes. So the project kicks off in October, where we submit our full proposals to the foundations. We should hear back within 30 days. And we also planned on submitting our BCL application at the same time. And design is already really underway as well. So that's going to be about 60 days. And we plan to break ground once everything's vetted with the architecture firm and construction. So we plan to break ground in May. And UrbanBuilt stated for 3 properties, it should take us roughly 6, no more than 8 months to get these up. So we, on an aggressive note, I stated December 2021 to have individuals in the homes by, but that's with construction ending in November, end of November.
Thank
I
you.
want to thank the Baltimore Seed team. I'm sure we could ask questions forever, but thank you so much to our judges for reading their prospectus. And I'm going to, congratulations to you guys again, Baltimore Seed. Woohoo, #1 for 2020. And we're going to turn it over to our second fellow, who is Matthew King. And he actually has an amazing video.
Don't be there just during the dark times. People need you at all times. We need it all the time. We are talking about community. Defining community is hard, but you can't live without one.
The stronger the community, the stronger the people. Our people need strength right now. The fabric of our country, city, and community are all being tested right now.
That test started with the pandemic. Now we are fighting for our lives. This reality has always been this way. It's always been a fight, a struggle.
People are finally waking up to the reality that our communities matter.
This time is different. Our voices have grown stronger. Our people have grown stronger. The people supporting us have grown stronger. The community needs an organization that will rise up during key moments, but always be there as a resource.
Here's the thing about Baltimore. When you get knocked down, there is someone there to help you get back up. The Harlem Park CDC is just that. We are here for Harlem Park and West Baltimore.
We are living and breathing this every day because we are here. We live here. We started this organization to be a part of the solution.
Right here in Harlem Park. It has never been done here before, and we are doing it. We are passionately committed to cultivating a progressive community that residents of West Baltimore can be proud of, live in, and thrive in. During unprecedented times like these, we know that we all need each other more than ever. This is why we stepped up when others wouldn't. We are also making sure that we bring in others to help. With the generous support of the Truist Charitable Fund, we have been able to distribute food to over 1,000 families in 30 days.
We didn't start our organization in response to this COVID-19 pandemic,
but we did act fast because of it. We aren't stopping with just feeding families. We are bringing tools to help our residents grow and create opportunities to change the lives of their families now and in the future. Now is our time to rise up, to thrive. We are just getting started.
Good afternoon. My name is Matthew King. I'm the founder, president, and executive director of the Harlem Park Community Development Corporation. Also, I'm a Harlem Park resident. I bought my first apartment building back in 2010 in Harlem Park on the 500 block of North Carrollton Avenue. The reason why we're here today is to talk about the Progression Redevelopment Plan. This plan was actually developed through the Reeds Fellows program at the University of Baltimore. I had an opportunity to participate in this program the last couple of months, and it was great. I learned a lot about real estate development in all facets when it comes to not only urban planning, but also financing as well. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. My background is in real estate and also in insurance and financial services. Being a resident of Harlem Park, I've seen the historic disinvestment that exists in our community from not only the city, but also systematic racism that has impacted our community. What am I talking about? I'm talking about redlining. Redlining was a program that actually hit our community hard. Another issue was the urban renewal plan, where the federal government actually used highways to separate historically black and brown communities. They not only did this in our community in Harlem Park, but also they did this in other cities around the country as well. One being Tulsa, Oklahoma, also a community called Hayti, which is outside of the Raleigh-Durham area of North Carolina. So why are we here today? We're here to discuss the progression redevelopment plan that will solve various different issues. One being, it will solve blight. Our plan is to go ahead and bring properties back on the tax roll. But also, it's to increase the net worth of an individual and families. And we do that through homeownership. Our organization is in the process of actually going ahead and becoming a HUD housing counseling agency with a partnership with Home Free USA. And our program is to go ahead and increase the equity in a family's household to shrink that generational wealth gap that exists in our community. The second phase of our redevelopment plan is to go ahead and acquire various properties that consists of vacant lots and also existing structures on the 500 block of North Carrollton Avenue through the Vacancy to Value program. This is the second phase of our redevelopment plan. The first phase has proposed funding coming from the state of Maryland, Department of Housing Community Development, Net Zero program, where we're offering energy efficient housing for individuals that live in our community. Individuals will be able to go ahead and purchase housing from us that is safe, secure, energy efficient, and also renters that go through our How to Live program will be able to rent affordable housing from us. We're looking to develop 9 apartment units and 2 single-family houses. The 9 units will be 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Each unit will be marketed out at $1,000 a month, and properties that are sold in our community in the second phase will be offered at $200,000. So let's go to the numbers. So if you look at the annual rent from our rentals, so if we rent out 9 units at $1,000 a month, we're looking to generate roughly around $108,000. We have an estimated operating expense of $32,400 with a vacancy rate of 20% and a cap rate of 7%. Our proposed numbers are conservative for our community. Right now, like I stated earlier, market rent is $1,000 a month for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath unit, but subsidized rents are for $1,200 a month. Our total budget for this project is $955,329, and that consists of equity. Our organization coming to the table with $388,472. We're looking to acquire these properties from the city, the existing structures for $10,000 a property, and with the vacant lots, $5,000 per vacant lot. Also, when these numbers include a developer's fee of 11% and an architectural fee of $45,000 with our HERS rating consultant for another $45,000. As stated earlier, our proposed annual rental income is $108,000. With vacancy rates, you take out another $21,600. So our effective gross income is $86,400. Minus our operating expenses of $32,400, we're looking at a net operating income of $54,000 within the first year. So out of that NOI of $54,000 minus the debt service, our annual debt service for the first year of this project is $44,238 with the net proceeds of $66,360 coming from the sale of the 2 redeveloped single-family houses. We're looking at cash available after debt service of $76,122. And in our first year, our debt coverage ratio is 1.22. Our construction partners in this project, our architectural firm is the present company, 33 Design, Seawall Development, who is our general contracting consultant, and our general contractor, Plano Construction. Take a strong, hard look at our pitch. My community truly needs this investment to move forward. BCL has an opportunity to be a catalyst of change with us and add to the story of Harlem Park. I feel that Harlem Park is the Radiator Springs in cars. It's that hidden gem that's tucked to the side. They don't see the various different amenities that we have. Harlem Park, a long time ago, was one of the historic, most wealthiest African-American communities in Baltimore. And we're trying to get Harlem Park back to that. I appreciate your time today. I thank you. Thank you in advance for your investment in my community.
I get to clap for everybody. Congratulations, Matthew. That was amazing.
Thank you.
I'm going to turn it over to the judges.
All righty.
So,
how you guys doing?
So Matt, good. How are you?
Good.
So I'll ask a question first. This is Barb Simmons. I thought that was a really great pitch. I loved your opening video. I thought it was very impactful. And your description of your economic and investment analysis was very thorough and detailed. So I really appreciate you going through that step by step.
Good.
So the first question I have is, when you were talking through your sources and uses in your investment analysis, I see you've explained that your asking loan amount is $567,000, but yet you defined your sources as a component of senior debt versus construction debt versus equity. Could you help us understand what do you mean by your senior debt versus your construction debt?
So both of it is actually the same. So if you actually look at it, the construction debt was for the construction of the affordable housing that we're looking to go ahead and do, and the senior debt was for the sale of the property. So when we actually met with our consultants over at Seawall Development, they stated to break it down that way. So you can separate it out, because once we actually go ahead and sell the two properties, that income is going to come in, and then we will be paying on the debt service of just the existing loan until we refi out in years to come off of the rental income.
And so your senior debt, your construction debt was just sort of a breakdown of how you're going to get repaid, but it's essentially the same lender. Got it. And where's your equity? Where are you proposing?
So our equity
source.
Our organization right now is in the application phase of becoming a CHODO, a community housing development organization. So we're actually going to be getting HUD funds. In the city, you're allowed 10% of the annual give from HUD. So right now, the city has been getting $4 million a year from that. So if you look at the prospectus, you can see exactly what the breakdown is from HUD that we're going to be getting as a CHODO. But then also our organization is going to come to the table with funds as well, because this is the second phase of our redevelopment. So the money that we actually make from the first phase that we're currently doing right now, through the financing from the state of Maryland Department of Housing, Community Development, from the Net Zero program, we're going to use that to go ahead and use that as money for this deal. And then the last source is actually coming from the state in that Net Zero program as well. So they're actually in the program. They can do loan enhancements where they would bring equity to the table to go ahead and get the deal done.
Got it. And your hold period for the rental is, you did an investment analysis of 10 years?
Yes. We were looking actually to see if we can refi out after 7, but it all depends on exactly when, our projects get up and running. So we actually have the regular comps and things like that for the community.
Thank you.
No problem.
Matthew, just to piggyback off of Barbara's question, so I'm clear, of the $567,000 loan, that construction debt of 104 will get repaid from the sale of units, and you're looking for a long-term debt then of the 462?
Correct.
Okay, I understand. Also, where did you come up with your operating expenses? How did you determine those?
We actually looked at what the taxes were, and it was a variable off of various different things. So as you know, if we hold on to these properties, we would have to pay some kind of taxes due to the fact that, yes, we are a nonprofit, but we still have to go ahead and allocate that number into the numbers for you guys. But ultimately, being a nonprofit, we wouldn't have to pay taxes on the rentals because this is a part of our initiative and mission. But we did put that in for the sake of this pitch. But then also we have common area maintenance that is consisted in that. Also utility costs as well for the common area. And then also for some light maintenance as well with a property management fee of 5%. And we're actually looking at Turner Property Management, Jim French's organization, to go ahead and be our property management company.
Typically, just I'm used to seeing operating expenses broken out in a little more detail. That's all. Something you might want to take into consideration as you move forward with this, because you're going to have real estate taxes, insurance, operating expenses, and as I'm sure Barb and Bob will attest to, we also add in reserves when we look at this thing for future replacements.
Most definitely.
Thanks.
No problem.
Matthew, I just have one question and a comment, or actually two comments. Really good job, great video. Thanks for sharing it with us. The comment is on the projected level of cash flows. We bankers love to see what your debt service coverage ratio is. Try to keep it simple for us to show it to us. It's going to be from year 1 through 10. I think that's always helpful. We can calculate it, but it's always helpful to see it. My question is the loan amount of I guess the loan is for something.
It's $566.80. $566,857.
Yeah, you're paying that down, right?
Correct.
Okay. Whatever the ed loan's going to be, what is the value of the underlying collateral?
The underlying collateral, after renovation value for the single family houses, we're looking at $250. We are going to be bringing some equity to the table to actually get those down, giving it to the individuals that go through our home ownership program. But we're looking at the after renovation value of $250,000.
Okay, so that's $250 for each unit?
For the single families houses. For the rentals, we're looking at roughly around $50,000 per unit.
Okay, so it's $50,000 per unit, so that's $150,000 there because you have 3 rentals, correct?
3 rentals, yes, 3 buildings, and then the 2 single family houses.
Okay, and you're estimating those to be roughly cumulative $250?
$250.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matthew, and thanks for our judges for reviewing his perspectives, and good luck to you. Thanks so much, Matthew. And we have our last but not least in the draw is Nikita Thompson, and she pre-recorded her presentation as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Hero, and Makita, you can turn on your video.
My name is Makita Sharon Thompson. I was born and raised here in Baltimore City. I'm the founder of 4 Neighbors Real Estate Eco Development Group. Through this grassroots development organization, my team and I plan to acquire 4 adjacent RA zone vacant lots that are currently city-owned, offered through the Vacant to Value program. We will need to request a PMD for the purpose of subdividing these lots to create 4 18-feet wide lots for 4 fee simple townhomes on lots 46 through 49 within a 1200 block of Asquith Street. The neighborhood where these empty lots are located is known as the Oliver community within the heart of East Baltimore. These parcels of lands are within close proximity to many desired amenities such as noteworthy schools, Starbucks, Johns Hopkins Medical Campus, major hotel chains, public swimming pools, and fitness centers, making this location ideal for families and young urban professionals looking to live closer to the places they live, work, and play. As for the Oliver community itself, it is a historic, close-knit neighborhood in the Eastern District of Baltimore City. It has a dedicated community association led by hardworking individuals and engaged citizens. More than 2/3 of the neighborhood consists of female-headed households with children under 18 years of age. Though the area was once considered middle class, it has in the past century experienced economic depression and housing abandonment. Recently, this neighborhood has begun to rebuild new, affordable, energy-efficient townhomes. Overall, the neighborhood has a great walk score, good transit options, and is very accessible to rideshare options such as Spin, Lime, Zipcar, Uber, and Lyft. 4 neighbors plan to execute the plans for these 4 3-story, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath with 3rd-story rooftop decks modular townhome is through leveraging the experience from our amazing partners. Combined as a team, we possess decades of experience in business management and real estate development. Allow me to properly introduce myself and the core members of our team. As for myself, I'm a spring 2020 graduate of the Murray School of Business Radcliffe Entrepreneur Fellowship BSBA degree program. I am a MBA Juris Doctorate dual degree grad student. From 2018 to 2019, I served in the role of president of the Real Estate and Economic Development Association. I was nominated the title of UB's 2018 Newman Civic Fellow. My interest in real estate dates back to 2004. I am currently a full-time licensed realtor as a lead developer of 4Neighbor Real Estate Eco Development Group. I plan to join the list of impactful real estate developers here in Baltimore through building breathtaking townhomes one lot at a time to promote homeownership and neighborhood recovery. Our consultant, Brad Shapiro, is the founder of Jabba 5 Real Estate Group, established in 2006, and is skilled at making strategic decisions necessary to effectuate successful real estate transactions. Brad worked for 2 years at L&R Property Corporation in Miami Beach as a loan asset manager. In just 2 years, Brad resolved over 120 loans with an aggregate loan balance of approximately $1 billion. 4Neighbors general contractor Robert Nicholson, aka Nick, is the founder and president of Advantage Homes, a licensed home builder in the state of Maryland, and has been in business for over 33 years providing quality construction services in single-family, multifamily, modular home constructions, and commercial general contracting. Nick also established the electrical contracting division, Advantage Electric, to service internal construction jobs as well as provide services to other builders, developers, and residential and commercial customers. Nick has created relationships with many of the leading modular manufacturers such as Champion Homes, North American Housing Corp., New Era, New Image, Pro Build, Signature Building Systems, and many, many, many more. He is also versed on infill projects and obtaining zoning variances to permit construction and maximizing construction efficiency to minimize costs. 4Neighbors also receive a wealth of support through several other partners highlighted here on the screen. While there are a lot of other great development teams all around the Oliver community rehabbing homes, helping to beautify the long neglected areas of our community, 4Neighbors' plan for new construction is guaranteed to reset the housing market value and raise comps by 10% within this neighborhood. And I'll tell you why. It's inevitable because the comps in these areas are all shells from the late 1800s to early 1900s. The total capital requirements to execute Four Neighbors Phase 1 development project is $1,026,250, in which $916,200 will be allocated to land acquisition, climate control modular home construction, and site development. The remaining $110,044 will go towards soft costs and working capital. Should BCL decide to partake in this opportunity I present here this evening, you can expect that Four Neighbors will pay the debt of not 50% or even 80%, but 100% of the sales revenue from the first 3 sales, and the remaining portion of the debt will be satisfied through the final sale to reset the guidance line of credit BCL has to offer that will potentially fund future development projects. Based on the current market value within the Oliver community, Four Neighbor projects to profit $8,650 off of each individual home sale, equaling a total profit of $34,600 and a 13.5% return on equity. Today's modular construction consists of large components that are fabricated in quality control production facilities. These manufacturing facilities are designed with a main assembly line and multiple workstations where specific and sequenced building tasks are completed, and all materials are stored and protected from weather-related damages. Work is organized and performed efficiently with continuous quality systems monitoring the entire process. Assembly work typically begins in the floor department. While the floor systems are getting built, the framing team constructs interior and exterior wall sections and apply drywall panels. Meanwhile, in another area, roof and ceiling construction is also taking place. Simultaneously, other members are finishing ceiling and drywall prep, as well as working to complete ceiling cavities, installing fire suppression, electrical, and plumbing. And windows are installed and sealed to prevent air filtration and leaks inside the wall units. After only 1 week of construction, a module is ready to be cleaned, inspected, wrapped, and transported to the project site, nearly 80% complete. Ideally, we plan for things to be sequenced properly so that the modular construction starts at the same time as the on-site work to reduce almost half the time for construction. Upon their arrival, modules will be unwrapped and a crane is used to lower it onto the foundation. Installation contractors structurally fasten the units together and secure them to the foundation. Skilled trade contractors then work on the unit's interior and exterior structure to perform minor finishing work and complete the final connections of the electrical, plumbing, fire suppression, and HVAC. Before you know it, the structure has come to life. Modular construction is a better way to build because it offers efficiency, speed, quality, and profitability. It is truly a win-win-win situation, meaning that for us, we have less interest carry for this project. Our investors profit a whole lot sooner than they typically would with traditional construction, and it also means that people can move into modern, clean, safe homes much faster.
Makita. Congratulations to you for such a great presentation, and we're going to turn it over to our judges.
Good job, Makita.
Thank you.
I'll start with a couple questions. You've got to subdivide some of these lots.
That is correct.
What's the timing on that? And do you plan on acquiring them before you subdivide them? Or are you going to try and get the subdivision done and acquire them subject to?
Well, we work to do it somewhat sort of simultaneously. For the simple fact, we were going to submit our application for the bid, and then at the same time submit out PMD to DOP for the subdivision, because that process can be rather lengthy. So we felt as though we should, pretty much start the process just as early as when we acquire the properties.
Because we've seen typically with our clients, they won't purchase a property until they've seen it through the subdivision process. Because as you said, it can get hung up and it could take excessive amounts of time, and time is money, et cetera, et cetera. Just a thought as you get involved in this. And you've got about $250,000 in equity coming into this deal, it looks like. Where are your sources for that?
Well, the sources are still underway from just various different places. We haven't exactly narrowed it down. Like, I have options as far as what I was told by the community, and then things that I researched on my own through the DC, the Department of Housing. The programs that they have mostly were beneficial for the people that will be acquiring the house, which was really most important for me. But as far as covering that percentage of the loan, we were asking, and also having to ask here today, as far as anybody who wants to get involved, and then other programs that haven't quite, secured the bolts too.
Okay, again, speaking from the lender's perspective, we always want to make sure that there's enough money to finish the job before we close a loan, to make sure that the project can actually get completed. So something you might want to focus on going forward too.
Absolutely.
Makita, great job. And I echo what John had to say as it relates to, bankers like to see where the funds are coming from, the sources of funds to complete the project. I only have one question for you. Out of the comparables that you have on Oliver and Caroline Street and a couple other streets, Broadway, which one is closest to the property? Or all of them relatively the same distance? And how far would that be?
Yeah, like walking distance, as in, I don't have my map up in front of me, but I literally walked it myself along with the community president. And it was just a couple of footsteps away, like not blocks, city blocks.
Okay, are they contiguous streets? I should have looked at it, but are they contiguous streets, or are they in another neighborhood, or?
No, now I did specifically only pull Oliver community because that is the community that these lots are in. So that specific community of Oliver, which is the 21213 area code, even though Askell Street falls on the O2, is still considered part of the Oliver community. So I didn't go outside, even though there were a lot of comparables in Broadway East, which is very close to Askell as well. But I specifically did in the Oliver community, since that's what the lot's classified as.
Okay, thank you. Hey, good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Makita, it's Barb Simmons. Great job on your presentation. I thought it was very well executed and very smooth in terms of, you went through each section of your investment analysis of product, numbers, market, et cetera. So really, really, really appreciate your thoughtfulness on how you've kind of put it together. Just a couple of questions. What do you estimate as your construction time versus sellout time for each unit?
Well, the plan for a sellout is to initiate pre-sales before the properties are are completely constructed. So we're hoping to at least get the ball going with getting, and myself as a realtor will be also, orchestrating that end of the deal as far as trying to get the houses sold before they're actually built by marketing and promoting them. And sorry, I think I lost the second half of the question, but initially that was the plan, to get pre-sales in and to start paying back sooner, which is 100% of the first 3 sales that comes in is going to go completely towards paying back the debt.
Gotcha. And have you, like in your research, are pre-sales pretty standard in the market? Is that possible? Because sort of what we seem to be seeing in the, I would say the market, there's less opportunity for pre-sales because people kind of want to see it, kick it, touch it, feel it.
Correct. And the reason why I went with pre-sales, it was actually given to me by the community, because ironically, I actually ended up in 3 different places and did this project 3 different times. But the last community that I ended up in, Oliver Community, was less on the affordable housing end than where I was before. And I actually got the idea from the community itself, where is the whole block. I don't want to say the wrong name of the street, but they did all pre-sales, like simultaneously while they were building in the Oliver Community. They was also building near John Hopkins, and they were able to sell out the whole entire block before they put out an RFP, and they sold out the whole entire block before the block was built. And another incentive that they also suggested is that to get the person who is purchasing involved. So through the pre-sales, the customer will be able to come in and, actually help with the finishes. They will be able to choose their countertop. They will be able to choose whether they want carpeting or hardwood floor, and pretty much get involved to put their, their own touch on the place that they want to call home.
Gotcha. And just quickly on the numbers, just so, I understand your analysis on your estimated profit schedule, you had come up with your net proceeds, just a little polished on your estimated net proceeds, just something to think about. Yes, you're going to have a commission, but you're also probably going to have a closing cost deduction. So you'll probably have to net it down a little bit, but I just want to understand that, essentially on your 265, is it fair to say if I multiply that by 4 on your units, you're expecting at about $1 million in proceeds to pay back your $770,000 in debt?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to look for where you are. So
I'm on, says the schedule doesn't have a page number. So it's your estimated profit schedule.
Correct. Okay, so
page 15, sorry.
Right. So I'm not a financial expert, but I did receive assistance with creating this particular form here. And so that was my whole reason, because I did not want to go wrong with these numbers. I received help through help. It's actually systematic inside Excel that brought me back numbers.
Okay. I think I understand your math, so I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I do not have any other questions. I don't know if the panel does.
I'm good.
I'm good too.
Awesome. And thanks so much to our judges, and congratulations to all of our fellows. You guys were awesome. All right. So for the audience, we actually have a program for you while our judges are off doing something else. So while our judges are moving to their own room, you are going to hear, oops, how come I can't share my screen now? Oh my. I was the host for a second there, but now I think I'm not. So while the judges are doing their thing, let me try one more time to share my screen. There we go. You are going to hear from a couple of different folks including our winner from last year, Tiffany Green. And first, I'm going to turn it over to our READ board chair, Matthew McNeely, the READ program here at the University of Baltimore, which is one of the supporters of this fellowship program. And I'm going to turn it over to Matt McNeely, who is our current board chair.
Thanks, Seema, and hello to everyone. Again, just want to take a minute to personally thank everyone for participating tonight, and welcome again on behalf of the READ board. And maybe most importantly, want to just say congratulations to the 2020 fellows. It was evident how much work was put into their presentations tonight, and I wish them all the best. Couldn't have been easy, of course, under the circumstances, but they showed that they were willing to keep grinding and innovating to make the pitch happen this evening. So the READ board, of course, is proud to support the Pitch for $1 Million as it demonstrates our commitment to developing, the next generation of real estate leaders in Baltimore and addressing, the critical needs within our neighborhoods. We are a group of developers, architects, property managers, builders, banks, brokers, asset managers, and as the dean said earlier, we are of Baltimore and for Baltimore, and certainly want to be a part of the solution. So it's an honor to support this program. And I'll just add on a side note, I'm the Director of Talent Management for Continental, and I would love to actually hire all of our fellows this evening, but they certainly don't need a job from me as they have much bigger dreams and plans for themselves. And ultimately, they may help create jobs. So that's all I have for now, but thank you.
Thanks so much, Matt. Thanks so much to the READ board for their continued support of the program. Now I'm going to turn it over to someone who happens to also be part of our READ board, but has just assumed the role also of president and chair of the BCL board, so that you can see kind of the inside family game here going on. I want to turn it over to Nicole Battle to talk about BCL.
Good evening, everyone. What a wonderful, I have no words, Seema. This is amazing. The presentations were fabulous. Congratulations to all of the presenters. I think when this brainchild was originally set up, I think when Seema spoke to BCL about doing the Pitch for $1 Million, I think you and Bill probably met about 3 years ago. We were really just looking for an opportunity to build, build a community of socially conscious real estate developers who wanted to work within the communities that you guys are proposing, you have your proposals for. Last year, we were able to award over $1 million to 3 wonderful proposals that address the affordable housing and community needs over in West Baltimore. This year, I'm glad that you guys have come over to the east side where I'm currently working, but I have my roots in Harlem Park. I'm currently working over in Govins, in that Govins community. And it's, these are the communities where you don't see large developers working in. In order to do the work that you do and what you're proposing to do in these communities, you have to have the passion for the work. You have to believe in what that community can be and what it used to be. You have to listen to those who have lived there for years, decades, who believe in their community and what that community can be. Affordable housing is not easy. It takes a lot to just stay in it. And it's a really different type of animal that not all lenders understand. The great thing about Baltimore Community Lending is we are a nonprofit bank, and we understand these communities, and these are the type of communities and the type of projects that we usually invest in. So I'm going to end now, but I just want to congratulate all of the presenters this evening. Congratulations on graduating, because it's going to happen. And I want to also thank you for your passion and your wonderful presentations and your desire to really make these communities better and Baltimore better. So thank you for the opportunity to present this evening.
Thanks so much, Nicole, for your kind words. So now we're going to turn it over and hear from our last year's fellows. This is our group of fellows from last year. We were in person last year for the presentations, and that was very exciting. And even though this is exciting in a different way, we're giving some virtual hugs to our 2020 fellows. I want to introduce you all to the 2019 Pitch for $1 Million winner, who is Tiffany Green, and she has an amazing update. It's kind of like Shark Tank, the Shark Tank update, the Pitch for $1 Million update from where you were last year, and tell us what's going on now.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Well, good morning. Good evening.
I'm so you in.
Clearly, I'm still sleeping, right? But I'm here. You guys did an amazing job. I feel like I'm just inspired all over again. And congratulations in advance to you all. So life after the UB 2019 Pitch for $1 Million. And I would say once I was able to just, it's like a big hurdle, right? I went over that hurdle and then it became a reality. Like I was dreaming at first and then reality hit. And so now, once the competition ended, I knew I had to establish an organization and some type of entity in order to make this vision come to pass. And so that's when Concrete Support was birthed. It's a for-profit real estate development company that plans to collaborate with public, private, and nonprofit sectors to create pathways to affordable and sustainable housing options for low to moderate income households. So the services we plan on providing obviously will be real estate development, as well as consultant services in the area of housing and community development, and of course, a philanthropy. And ways in which we're going to do that, and we're going to focus on how we're going to use 4 pillars of sustainable housing and community development, which is community resources, civic and community engagement, collaboration, communication, and community economic development. When I first initially pitched, I had my team, right? And so the team, obviously it includes myself. At the time, I was vetting general contractors. So I wound up selecting a general contractor that I would use. Right now, currently, I'm also vetting a realtor, And then in terms of working with the community, I'm going to continue working with the local CDC, which is WBC CDC, as well as Go Northwest, right? And then in terms of an investor, because obviously I need an investor to cover that 20%, right? And so I'm still working with my investor. And like I said before, when I pitched initially, it was in the Forest Park community. At the time, they did not form an alliance. So now there is an actual alliance with over 6 communities. So at the end of the day, we're dreaming, we're presenting, we're putting forth our vision. And that was the pitch was about, putting forth an idea and seeing whether or not if that idea will work, right? And then the judges made the decision. Now it came down to whether or not, was I bankable? And so that's when I said we were dreaming at first and we were putting forth the vision, but reality sets in and I had to figure out whether, not just myself, but obviously the bank had to figure out whether or not if I was bankable. So then I began to turn in my documents. I do believe it was July the 1st when I had the meeting at BCL, Baltimore Community Lending, and I was able to turn in all my documents. And I thought right then and there, we're going to get this show started, right? Well, lo and behold, yes, there were delays. However, it taught me how to keep persevering. It taught me how to keep pushing on. And so during phase one, I began to look for property. The goal was to find, initially I pitched 3 properties, and I do believe my asking price was $360,000, right? And so when I was presenting, I had 3 properties. When I went back, all 3 properties were gone. And that's the story of a realtor, right? And or an investor, right? And so I began to look for different scattered sites. So I put contracts on 3 different scattered sites. And because of how banking works and working with the bank and going underwriting and going through the loan process, because the bank has to figure out whether or not if we're bankable, right? I wound up losing all the contracts to the houses. I know you guys are probably like, wow, we thought this was going to be a dream come true, right? But it is. Hold your horses. I got something for you guys. And so I said, you know what? In the meantime, I know this is not working out. BCL, we always stayed in constant communication with each other. SEMA, everybody who was surrounding me, my mentors, Nicole Battle, Lawrence Campbell from the CDC, everyone was there to make sure this was going to be a successful thing, right? And so I began to, make sure I communicate with them and say, hey, this is not working. What are some of my barriers? I made sure I brought that to the table. So then that's when BCL began to get creative, right? They were saying, you know what, we're just going to move forward and we're going to just make it happen with 1 property. And then they were like, you know what, we're just going to move forward and we're going to just make it happen without the property, Tiffany. And that's all about being creative and trying to find a solution so that this project can move forward, right? So in the meantime, I knew that this was my first time creating a business, right? And so we jumping in it and saying, oh, we automatically want to jump to the real estate project and start building, but we also have to realize that it is a business at the end of the day. So I needed to educate myself. So while I was looking for properties, while BCL was doing a background and seeing whether or not if I'm bankable, I began to work on me and the business aspect, right? So I took some classes and I began to really understand, do my business plan. Yes, I had an investment pitch, right? An investment package for my pitch, but I also wanted to further, look forward, forward thinking. So I went and I began to learn. So fast forward now to 2020. In April, after going through the whole COVID and trying to figure out what's going on, I had to resubmit all my documents because we know at a certain period of time, if there is if we're not moving forward in terms of closing, then we have to make sure I'm still bankable, right? They wanted to make sure there was no huge financial changes, right, in terms of my credit. So yes, I was determined bankable, and on April the 1st, I received my letter of commitment from BCL. Woo-hoo! Yes, for $250,000. So we wound up closing. Obviously, things were delayed, but we wound up closing in September. And I can tell you now that we have sealed the deal for $250,000. And this is me on closing day with my daughter. I want to thank BCL. I want to thank the University of Baltimore. I want to thank all my mentors. I want to thank just everyone that played a role in making this happen, because we know at the end of the day, what happened here is something that is going to move the city of Baltimore forward. And so I really do appreciate it. You guys don't know how much I am thankful for this and how much I know it's going to pave the way. And so what's going to happen next? It's time to build. So I'm ready. I already got the business plan together. I developed, and so it's now time to move forward. So I thank you guys.
Oh, that's amazing. So when can somebody move into the Concrete Solutions house number 1?
So I'm hoping that it just got real dark. I'm hoping by next year, 2021, that we will have properties ready and available for sale, and we'll have our families ready to move in. And so, yeah.
So what would you say is kind of the number 1 thing to partake to the new fellows this year? What are your key words of wisdom?
I would say throughout this whole process, making sure that your personal finances is together, especially if you're going in and you're creating a for-profit, because at the end of the day, you're the face. They're going to make sure that you're bankable, you know? And so making sure you have all your numbers and your finances lined up in a way that will make sure that you receive, you know, that letter, that commitment letter, right? And also continue to network. Continue to ask people questions. If you don't know, I know many of you guys are like experts. So I'm sitting here as a newbie. I should be asking you guys questions, right? But I know many of you guys own properties, but you know what? Moving into this and really doing it on your own and expanding, I would say continue to ask questions, continue to learn from others, continue to build your network, and you'll see it grow. And never give up. You might get no's, but never give up. Contracts might not go through, but never give up.
Yeah, so I think that's actually one of the key things about you. And I think one of the things that the judges liked so much about you, because they knew you would not give up. And that's a you know, a trait that you know, is rare and awesome. And I think our fellows have that tenacity.
Yeah.
But what kind of got you through it?
My family, the end goal and the purpose, just knowing that it's going to change somebody else's life. And I know all that it's like I have this saying where, you know, I went from being helped to becoming the help, you know, and so that is what continuously pushed me through, because even today, you know, we were texting back and forth. It seems like every time, Seema, we're texting back and forth.
I have no Wi-Fi.
My Wi-Fi completely shut down, you guys. It completely shut down. It never did that in my house. And I had to drive all the way over to my mom's house to make this thing happen, to make sure you guys know that it's possible. It's possible. No matter what. And that's the only thing that I would say in terms of that it's possible. And because I know it's possible, and because I know that people are here to support, that's what makes me go on.
Well, that is awesome. Thanks so much for being here. We are so, I think one of the things that is important is that part of the Fellows Project, you know, we aren't going anywhere either. Even though you're with us for the 10 weeks, or in this year's case, it was almost 6 months, even though it was elongated. I hope that 2019 Fellows know that everyone that you met through this process is going to stick with you. We are part of your kind of web of support. And if you do have any questions in the future, please don't hesitate to ask any one of us, because we want to see you succeed. So thank you so much, Tiffany.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, hopefully you'll stick around to hear who the winner is.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So on a slightly more somber note, on a very much more somber note, one of our fellows last year, Jal David Faraz, was actually one of our winners last year. A bright, young, wonderful student and young man who was tragically taken from us in a terrible car accident in 2019. And we are so sad to see, you know, to have experienced this. But one silver lining is that we are here today to announce the Jal David Garcia Faraz Endowed Scholarship, so that his memory will always live on at the University of Baltimore. And I want to turn it over to his employer, Brooke Kane, who actually helped launch the scholarship.
Thank you very much, Seema. And congratulations to all the fellows who were presenting, all the folks that were presenting tonight, and to Tiffany for being last year's winner. Very impressive indeed. We had the great fortune, however limited it was, to work with David I had reached out to SEMA. I was looking for another associate. We're in the private lending business here in the Baltimore area. And I was looking to expand our staff, particularly to have a native speaking Spanish person who we're helping more folks in that community. And he came aboard with us initially part-time and became so much more. All of a sudden I find out that David's excellent in video, David's excellent in marketing, David's excellent in Excel spreadsheets. And I'll never forget the time a couple of years back where a few of our folks were talking about this project and that project, and let's go in. And David says, wait a minute, first we have to have a process. I said, well, oh, okay. And I said, you are that process person, David. So why don't you just take my desk, my computers, and why don't you set the thing up? The biggest problem that we were facing with David personally was how I was going to retain him. He did a major internship in the summer with a large brand. It was M&T or BB&T, one of the two. And I said, I'm going to have a hard time holding on to this guy. And certainly we would have, because he was destined for companies. We're a small firm, half a dozen folks, and he was destined for bigger and better things. I was going to try to create as much as I could to keep him on board. But tragic scenario unfolded, and we lost him. In his memory, one of the other people that he became very good friends with, one of my best friends, Marshall Klein, who's the CEO of the ShopRite food store group here in Baltimore, and I started an endowment. It will go on in perpetuity and be self-supporting, so it will always be there. We were very much proud to be able to play a role there, both Marshall and I. When I originally introduced him to Marshall, next thing I know, he's over at Marshall's house and they're talking shop, and they kind of fell in love. Marshall did with David as much as we did. I got to know his mom and dad quite well, and I just feel very proud to be able to help in this way to create something in his memory that will go on in perpetuity and help other students get through this great program. And SEMA, as always, thank you for introducing David to our lives.
The Faraz family is with us here today. Thank you so much for being here. I do have a letter that David had written, and I will be happy to read it. But if the Faraz family wanted to say anything, please feel free to let me know or unmute yourself. We'd be happy to hear from you. Otherwise, I will go ahead and read the letter. So this is actually, I have to take off my glasses, sorry. So this is actually a paper that David wrote for Ted Peters' class, Management 301, at the very beginning of last semester, in August of 2019. So last year, our pitch for $1 million happened in June, and this letter was written just 2 months later by David. My full name is Jao David Garcia Faraz. I go by David in public for reasons for simplicity and fairness to others. This is my 4th semester at the University of Baltimore, and I'm hoping to graduate in the spring of 2020. I am a transfer student that graduated from Montgomery College with an associate's degree in business. My journey to UB is one that started 3 years ago, roughly 1,000 miles away in Miami, Florida. In Miami, I was working with residential real estate buyers. These buyers were from all walks of life and had different reasons for purchasing real estate. The 2 most significant were first-time home buyers and investors purchasing for profit. 2 groups purchasing for completely different fundamental reasons. I noticed that the profits these investors were making on the sales of these first-time home owners were astronomical, to add a little emphasis to the situation. It was to a certain extent, I began to ponder if these profits were justified and whether first-time homeowner deserved more than what they were being delivered. I came to realize this was the way of conducting business was unsustainable. My research online led me to a unique program not provided by a majority of the universities in the country called Real Estate and Economic Development. To my surprise, it was a university located just 50 minutes away from where I had grown up, called the University of Baltimore. I spent a few months planning the move and building the confidence to again pick up and relocate, but I finally put together the trigger in the spring of 2016. 3 years later, I sit here today with knowledge and experience that has shaped the man I hope to once graduated. I currently work with investors trying to tailor a product that makes sense from their bottom line, but at the same time does not inflate the price of the home to an absurd amount. Sorry. Certain green elements are working into the builds to hopefully bring awareness to these new homeowners or continue to create a demand for building practices. This effort has been supported by the university through a newly developed fellowship competition program to which my partner and I had won. I have been blessed with an opportunity technically impossible to land without their help. This is a multi-dollar line of credit with Baltimore Community Lending to do our first residential restabilization project in one of Baltimore's most neglected neighborhoods. Once graduating, I hope to take the development company currently being established as we speak to engage fully in making a difference in areas that need it most. Outside the hectic life of real estate, I enjoy being outside doing adventurous activities. These are the words from David himself. And I want to turn it over to Hayden, who was his partner last year in the Fellows Program.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Seema. And thank you, Brooke. David was truly an exceptional person. He was extremely passionate and driven in everything that he did. David also, he always believed strongly in always doing the right thing and always giving back to the community in any way that he could. David was my business partner, my friend, and will always continue to hold a special place in my heart. He's someone who will continue to guide me in everything that I do. And I'm just extremely proud and thankful that the UB community, that Brooke and Seema were all able to come together and make sure the legacy continues to live on through us all. In terms of the project that we pitched last year, I'm continuing to pursue the project in Cherry Hill. I still think, David and I, we shared a dream together, and I want to see that go through. I believe that the neighborhood Cherry Hill has so much to offer us and so much to offer the city as a whole. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Seema.
Thanks so much, Hayden. And thanks so much, Brooke. And the Faraz family, feel free to say anything if you'd like.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Faraz family.
That's okay.
Well, we would just like to thank you all at the University of Baltimore and all the community, all those involved, to let us be part of this moment. We feel very blessed. And it's great to see that David's legacy living on all of us, and that his vision now, it's your vision. And whatever dreams and plan he has, he's going to carry on. I'd like to thank you, Hayden, for his partner, you, Seema. Thank you, Ken, for all you've done for David and everybody. Again, just thank you all. We're really grateful to be here and really happy to be here. And good luck to all the fellows of the 2020 fellowship.
You guys are making a difference, and that's awesome.
Thanks so much. And we are truly grateful that the Faraz Scholarship will live on at UB, and David will be with us in our memory forever.
Thank you.
So I know that was difficult for so many of us, but I think beautiful also to remember David and the wonderful experience that we had last year getting to know him. But I think our judges are actually back. So I want to turn it over to Watchin and Sean to tell us who the winner is.
Actually, Sean's going to, he participated in it, so I'll defer it to Sean.
And the fellows can turn on their cameras so we can see you.
Seema, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Well, the deliberation was difficult. I mean, there was 3 great presentations, and on behalf of the judges, I do want to thank each and every one of the presenters for their due diligence and their presentations. And I also want to thank our judges, John Desino, Barbara Simmons, and Bob Altieri, for basically putting in the time and doing the homework and going through the packages and basically deliberating. And we have a winner. And the 2020 pitch winner is Harlem Park CDC.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Dr. Seema, do I have to say something?
Please.
Okay. One, I wanted to, on behalf of the Harlem Park Community Development Corporation, all of our partners at the University of Maryland School of Pharmacy Patients Program, our partners over at Metropolitan United Methodist Church, truly thank you for giving us this opportunity. Not only me representing the organization and being a part of this program, but also seeing the vision that I had when I came to Baltimore back in 2010. When I looked at Harlem Park, like I stated before, you know, it's that Radiator Springs that's forgotten about due to the fact that Route 40 was there. And the reason why the Highway to Nowhere is there is because of that systematic racism that exists, not only in my community, but other communities around the country. So I appreciate you guys. I look forward to working with your team. We finally made this thing happen. I appreciate everybody that have helped me throughout this whole process. And we're moving forward. It's all about progression. So we're moving forward, and I thank you guys for everything.
Congratulations, Matthew, and congratulations to all of our fellows. This was a very difficult year, but you all persevered and had an amazing vision to put together your program. Thanks so much to everybody. Dean DL, do you want to close this out?
Hi, I just would say congratulations, Matthew, but I would also say congratulations to all of the contestants. I learned so much, and again, I'm deeply appreciative of the judges, our sponsors and partners, and the business community, and also the members of the community that have worked with the fellows this year. So I think everybody is going to be very worthwhile. So thank you again.
Can I just say a few words also? I want to thank all of the participants, especially I want to emphasize that everyone is a winner. The 3 of you were very great. It was a difficult decision for the judges, I'm sure, because the presentations were excellent, but someone had to be first. So, but as BCL, we look forward to working with each and every one of you because you all are winners. So thank you again to UB, Seema, Mara, and the rest of the team at BU. And thanks also to the judges, because it's not easy picking one over the others, especially with such excellent presentation. And Harlem Park and Matthew, we look forward to working with you. Congratulations to all of you and great job.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Bruce.
Yeah, thank you.
We can't wait to see what you do, and we can't wait to see what all of you do with your future careers. And stay with us. If you ever need anything in the future, you know where we are. We're all here to try and make sure that you can see your vision to fruition. Thanks, everybody, for being with us. We look forward to seeing you all in person soon. And in the meantime, let us all invest in our neighborhoods in Baltimore. Bye, everybody.
Bye.